Or Austin with Shango and Stone Cold.
Shango 316 said I just cursed your ass.
Hello, and welcome back to the only wrestling podcast that exclusively rebooks, reimagines, and fantasises about the world of shit wrestling. We are better core creative. We look back at the worst of wrestling's past, and today is episode 17, and we're heading to the world of the occult as we check out Papa Shango in our story arc of the Ultimate Warrior. Hello.
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 And I, as ever, am joined to my left by the human eating machine himself, Jack Chance.
Hello.
The not-so-good father to my right, Sam Chance.
Hello.
And I am the soul taker himself, the pimp daddy of this podcast, Ben Chance. And have you enjoyed not watching this and getting your wet notes of Papa Shango's past, Sam?
His wasn't wet.
No.
My ECW ones that I've destroyed.
So to give you some context, Papa Shango was actually a lost episode in our archives, which we recorded and
over a year ago, and Ben lost it.
Yes, my laptop decided to break, so you may hear this, or maybe there is some dark forces in play, some chanting and shit going on.
There's black tar coming out of your laptop. You'll be alright.
So this is our second look at Mr. Shango. You enjoyed checking out Papa Shango, Jack?
A little bit.
Well, we saw his entrance, not his debut, but his entrance at Wrestlemania VIII in our last episode.
His trot.
If you want to hear what we thought of that, check out episode 16 in our archives. But before we go into the world of Papa Shango, what happened at the birth of Charles Wright, who played, well, many characters, but one of which was Papa Shango.
One of his more famous.
Yes. He was born May the 16th, 1961.
The day Shango Mania was born.
And topping the UK charts was a bomb and a blah, bang, bang, bang. It was
Belding.
Belding?
Mr. Belding.
It was Blue Moon by the Marcells, and at the time that this podcast goes out, Manchester City may or may not.
Fuck Man City.
If Sam has anything to do with it, they may be Premier League champions again. Who knows? However, in a change of pace, Jack, what offerings can you give them from 1961 for your poll for what you will be reviewing on our website?
Well, the first offering is New Jukebox Hits by Chuck Berry.
Oh, Chuck. You like a bit of Chuck Berry?
Yeah, I do like Chuck Berry. These are some classic albums. The next one is Something for Everybody by Elvis Presley.
Ooh, Elvis?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any wrestling fans that enjoy a bit of Elvis.
There probably is, and I will probably be reviewing it. The next one is Ring a Ding Ding by Frank Sinatra.
Oh gosh, these are big hitters.
Big
Chuck Berry, Elvis, and
Where
Frank
the Big
Sinatra.
Boys Play, 1961. And then lastly, we have My Kind of Blues by B.B. King.
B.B. King. So, you've got Elvis, you've got Sinatra, B.B. King and Chuck Berry to pick from, and that poll will be up on our Twitter page not long after this episode drops, so head over there now and give us a vote on what you would like Jack to review, and that review will be seen on our website, which is Better Call Creative, and you'll see Jack's back catalogue of reviews there.
Yes.
So, Charles Wright. Charles Wright wasn't interested in becoming a wrestler, as he was a American football fanatic, and he excelled partly because of his height and his build. He made the conversion from the football field to the wrestling ring, and to answer your question, we have to go back to 1986 and the filming of what would turn out to be an appalling film called Over the Top, featuring Sylvester Stallone. During filming, which featured a number of wrestlers, including Terry Funk and Scott Norton, Charles Wright was spotted and said by wrestlers tending the bar that he should get into the business. And then he went to Larry Sharp's Monster Factory. Know anyone else who was trained at Larry Sharp's Monster Factory?
Warrior? Sting?
No, a bit
Blue Meanie?
Blue Meanie?
I haven't got him down here. It could very well have been.
But I'm pretty... Matt Riddle. He been trained by him, because all the thing on his documentary recently, he went back to the Monster Factory and Blue Meanie was there.
Oh, could be. Well, I've got the list. There's a list here of...
Blue Meanie's a
Blue Meanie and Papa Shango.
What a team. What a team.
Monster Factory.
Well, I've got the team.
Or Animal or Orc, was it?
Well, I've got...
No, that was...
There was already in it.
I've got a list of, of people here called Bam Bam Bigelow, Balls Mahoney,
Never heard of him.
Chris Harris, The Big Show, Chris Candido,
Chris Harris,
yeah. D'Lo Brown,
Braden Walker,
Mosh, and friend of the show, Thrasher.
Yes. We love you, Thrasher.
Yes.
The Pitbulls, Raven, Rocco Rock, Tatonka, and current WWE superstar Sheamus. To name but a few.
You buried him.
And do you know where he cut his teeth in wrestling in America? Papa Shango, or what he was called then,
Memphis.
the Soul Taker.
Memphis,
which at the time was the USWA.
The feeder system.
Yeah, pretty much. Ran by Jerry Lawler. And he would compete there as the Soul Taker. Pretty much it was exactly the same gimmick as what Papa Shango was.
Did he have a painted face?
Well,
yeah, too.
And he would actually capture...
Don't know why he probably had to.
Yeah, too.
He would actually capture the unified the World Heavyweight Championship in Memphis by beating Jerry Lawler, which we may come to see.
He put over
later.
Shango.
You did?
When he was very green.
Lawler did put over a lot of people, he just won them in the return.
That's why he's won 57 world titles.
On January the 1st, 1990, he beat a huge star from wrestling's past in USWA.
Was it Bill Dundee?
Not Bill
Jackie
Dundee.
Fargo.
Yeah.
Was it?
Someone who, after in the 90s, would go on to become a huge star.
Oh, it's Bugger Red, ain't it?
No, it's not Undertaker. It's Steve Austin.
Is it?
Cleanly in USWA as the Soul Taker. Sign of the times.
What if they went different paths and Shango was the face of the Attitude Era?
Or Austin with Shango and Stone Cold.
Shango 316, so I just cursed your ass.
That's a shirt.
Brilliant. Get that on a shirt. But his time in USWA was up, and he headed over to Japan in 1990. Oh, there's some creepy stuff here. He defeated Black Cat, Masahiro Chono, and he teamed with the Pegasus Kid as the Soul Taker.
Oh, don't mention him.
Japanese.
He teamed with himself.
A life taker.
He also competed in a wrestler v boxing match.
Buried there.
I can't talk about it.
He fought in what?
Fought in a wrestler versus a boxer match against Tony Holm in 1990.
Big
Borger.
Shango v Borger.
I'd imagine at the time Borger was probably the boxer.
Because he was MMA and...
Then Vince went, I like him.
He's
finished. No, that's Charles Wright. He's not finished.
And this is where Vince McMahon would catch the attention of Vince McMahon. Do you know who he's friends with?
Taker.
Yeah, and this helps
he still is to this day.
His way into the fate.
What's his name? JBL, it is that BSK.
Yeah, BSK, shitey.
What was his first WWE gimmick?
Sir Charles, or it?
Sir Charles, yes.
What was
the
that?
gimmick
I don't know. I just know it's Sir Charles to begin with.
Well, the gimmick was an infusion of his real name and that of Basketball Association player and star of Space Jam, Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley.
Yeah. Are you Charles Barkley? You're not Charles Barkley!
Not Charles Barkley.
He's the one with the bald head.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, right.
Narrowed that down.
But he was never really shown on WWF programming.
He's on Space Jam.
It was only really on house shows. An image change came in 1992 when Vince McMahon conjured up a Voodoo Prince gimmick, which suited Wright to a T. And as a character who was required to intimidate fans, his height and strength was the one that put it over. And Shango Tango was born. Shango Tango was the name of his theme.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Shango Tango.
It frightened you, didn't it?
Did it as a child on Super WrestleMania.
I think it's one of the better olden day themes, to be honest.
Yeah,
People crap on this gimmick. People like it.
I think most people like the gimmick, even when you talk about it, as much as people. I mean, I think we know why it failed.
No way it failed. But
We'll go into
it
that.
was. I think it gets too much grief.
Yeah, well,
It probably, weirdly, suits the current product more than it did back
Back
then.
then, yeah.
and there isn't many characters that we can.
So
talk
it was
about.
before his time.
It was really, wasn't it?
Well, it
in a
was.
sense.
Well,
it was probably cartoonified and Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Well, the irony is,
You
a lot of
couldn't
the people who shat on Bray Wyatt's new character with his toy shop
Topical.
recently would have loved to have seen him turned into some sort of voodoo prince, because they'd have loved the idea of it being a cult. They don't like the light-heartedness of it, so obviously there is something to be said about darkness in wrestling, as I've been debating on Twitter recently.
I've watched that segment about 3 times, and the more I watch it, the more I think this is actually going to be alright.
Well,
hopefully.
until they get their old hands on it.
Well, I did see one thing that said apparently they might cancel it. I thought if they do that, that's just nonsense.
I don't know why they would cancel it. It got the highest number of views. Yeah,
Yes, because everybody's finally talking about him.
that's what you want. It doesn't matter.
But yeah.
It's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And
Anyway, we've strayed off the point here.
yeah, so get behind Bray.
Bray Wyatt.
Not for a while.
I don't think we were talking about Bray Wyatt when we
Yeah.
first recorded it.
If he's already debuted by this time and he's shit, then ignore everything we've said,
Yeah.
because we don't have confidence in the
Comes out of a
creator.
golf cart and he's like Kerwin White or something, then I'd let you on.
Yeah. So, our first review takes us to February the 2nd, 1992, and he's taking on perennial jobber Dale Wolf in his debut on an episode of Superstars, and Mr. Perfect and Vince McMahon are our commentary team. He enters to Shango Tango. His paint here, I noticed, looked a bit like Shao Kahn, because he didn't have the chin strap.
Because I think it was based off of Bondville.
Based off Baron Samedi.
From
Yeah.
Bond.
No,
Baron
it's like
Samedi's like an old voodoo sort of
character
thing.
Baron Samedi is, we get shots of pimple chin children scared in the crowd, but he does look in good shape, old Shango, to be fair to him. He's
always been in decent shape.
Yeah. And we get the creepy as hell entrance, and the generic jobber Dale Wolf wears Manchester City blue pants and Manchester United red pants. He's like one of them double scarf pants.
Yeah, he'll make his mind up.
I support Manchester. Which one?
I support the City of Manchester.
Team Manchester. Fucking Yanks.
Not much to say. Not much to say really on this match, other than Shango dominates Wolf, backs him into the corner and boots him, and we get a shot of Jameson in the crowd chewing his toy, looking scared.
Did he blow his nose on his sock? No, he didn't. Yeah, he does.
What the hell was that character?
I don't know.
It was
weird.
Vince taking the piss out of his audience, apparently.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, all nerds age.
Nerds! Vince.
No, with
What a
greasy
man.
hair, skinflint and what have you.
Well, Vince makes the best piece of commentary here when he says that he's got good knowledge of voodoo, and it's big in Haiti and Louisiana. The two places.
And though he has perfect if he knows anything about voodoo twice.
Yeah. Well, I love it. This is what I love about Superstars in like 1992, where they're trying to get over a character, so all they do all the way through the match is talk about anything to do with the gimmick instead of the match. But Shango wins.
Oh,
the
what
match.
did it with nails? Do you know anything about prison? Vince.
His neck bracer.
Yeah,
You should have said no.
You
should have said
might.
no, but I know a lot about nails. Shango wins with a shoulder breaker. Thoughts on his shoulder breaker finish? Looks pretty dominating.
I like
doesn't
the
it, to be
shoulder
fair?
breaker.
Yeah, it was
It's
quite
different. It's obviously powerful because
You don't see anybody doing it even just in a match, did you?
You don't see it now, really. He does it reverse style as well, though. He was facing up, sort of thing.
Don't
I
shout
like-
Zupa after it.
I've got it.
Zumba.
I've got Zumba. Well, you've got Zumba. I've got Doombar.
Doombar?
I thought you wanted
I had one of them, man.
But maybe that's what he was
Just shared his order in at the bar.
You've got Zumba, that's probably what he was doing in his class.
Zumba dance.
That's why he looks.
I've got Zupa, he's probably Zoo player, that's what he was saying for an house.
Brilliant.
Man.
So, thoughts on this squash match, Sam? We're not going to have to give it the grades.
Well, he did his job, really. That's all I can say, to be honest.
Jack?
Yeah, I think it got him over as a scary monster heel and made him look powerful enough, so it did his job. He can't do a lot, really, with a job match, but
Not on Superstars
just
at
gets
this
his
time.
character out there.
Unless he fought Harry Kane.
What do you think of squash matches anyway? I think we've probably talked about this on previous episodes, but I think they're a bit lost
I think
nowadays.
they're missed. I think, there's just an overexposure of characters these days, and everybody fights each other anyway, so that big match feel is almost gone for a lot of matches because they've already happened 50 times on TV. So squash matches, I think, do have a place.
Well, I think you
It's
look at
difficult,
Lars
but
now.
you can.
Lars is going to
Yeah.
probably be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and he's not actually won a match on the roster, purely because he's beating up a couple of people.
Yeah.
We're supposed to believe that he's a credible chap, which he may be, but he can't feed a load of the roster to him because that weakens the roster. But I just think people like him could benefit from.
Well, they did it with Ryback there. They
And they did it with Braun there, they.
Did it with Braun.
Yeah,
for a
but
while.
unfortunately one of the jobbers got over.
Oh,
yeah.
And we know what happened with him.
Shango would be continued to be booked over enhancement talents on Superstars in the weeks coming up. Some brilliant names here. I've got Brian Costello, Todd Overbow.
Overbow.
I was thought you were going to say Overmars. I was going to say
Mark Overmars. Well, that's a big win.
who did he play for in the 90s?
Ajax.
He beat Danny Kamo and Ian Weston twice. Poor Ian Weston.
That was his feud.
So at this point in his career, he's beat all them jobbers on Superstar. So what better way to properly debut him against other people as WrestleMania 8? Obviously, if you want to hear our review on WrestleMania 8, check out our last episode. But needless to say, Shango inserted himself into the main event scene slowly. Very slowly. We're supposed to believe that he's a main event player, and this takes us to a large chunk of our review. Our first promo review of the night as Papa Shango ignites his feud with Aurea. Cut in promo. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so obviously after this, as I said in my last review, his initial feud was probably going to be with Hogan. They was probably going to do it at SummerSlam, Sid and Shango v Hogan Warrior. There was rumours he was meant to fight Hogan at SummerSlam.
Awful.
Then when Hogan left, it was going to be Kerry Von Erich. Then he left, so he got put in the dark match with Tito. Spoiler.
He was supposed to fight Kerry Von Erich at SummerSlam.
That was sort of like the
what
mid
kind
one.
of feud is
I
that?
love how everybody.
Maybe they was going to do something to say he took his foot. Alright.
Tito is always the backup.
Yeah. No, but he was the backup to the backup.
Tito.
I would have loved it if he fought Kerry Von Erich. And when he sets fire to the feet, he just feel it. 'Cause he was just
Melts.
It's like if you set styrofoam on fire, it just compresses.
Oh dear.
So tiny little foot. That next week with a little foot. Little kid foot.
So yes,
kid foot.
His little kid foot, like Deadpool, wasn't he?
He cuts it off and it comes back.
Yeah, brilliant.
Tiny foot. Poor Kerry.
Poor Kerry.
So, obviously the plan initially was for him to fight Hogan. Plan B was initiated when Hogan didn't return to the Fed for a year.
Yeah, because Sid fought Warrior Dave for a bit, and they just kind of went, well, the two that was in the match and some at WrestleMania have gone. They just put the two that come together.
So we get our first promo review of our episode as Papa Shango is sort of surrounded by a lot of candles.
Yeah, a lot of candles. They're having a bath.
And he gives a very Dr. Seuss-like curse. Everything rhymes, and I put here, he looks like a very hot shed.
He looked like a hot shed, or where he looks like a hot shed.
Hot shed. That'd be a good name for a band.
He's
hot shed.
Hot shed.
Yeah, but he's close to hot shit. Anyway,
carry on. His rhyme is this: curse the living, raise the dead, warrior's nightmare, warrior's dread. Then we see a picture of the warrior in better shape and normal hair. And then the living will fall, the dead will rise, Papa Shango will reign over the warrior's demise. And then he burns a cross and cackles at the end of the segment. Thoughts on this promo package? Okay.
Well, the fire was shit. The fire was awful.
Yeah,
it was a tiny little fart of a fire, like. But the actual promo is decent enough. It sort of builds his voodoo, sort of what them trying to get with the character. So I think it did its job overall.
So
I like the look of it. Now you've said that curse, it was a bit strange. What Warrior's nightmare? What is it that he ain't going to get paid as much as Hogan?
That isn't. Yeah, he's going to burn that. That's good. Warrior should have been on Team Shango. And we do head over to the edition of Superstars, which was on May the 16th, which is Papa Shango's birthday. 1992.
Happy birthday! There's your feud.
Does it come out of the birthday hat?
With cake around his face. But this match is between Ultimate Warrior and obviously Brian Knobbs.
Should have been Sags.
My next question is, who do you prefer, Knobbs or Sags?
Sam.
Well, I really prefer Sags. I always preferred Sags anyway. But as we mentioned in the last show, we'll probably have a couple of times, I really do not like Knobbs anymore. He has haunted my nightmares.
Yes. I refuse to put it on Twitter, but if you want to search for it, New Jack's photo of Knobbs.
I'm not going to blame New Jack.
Yeah, well,
I'm stupid.
I am blaming it. So Warrior enters to a huge pop before hitting a double clothesline on both nasties. The crowd are really into Warrior's shit. I mean, they really, really are.
Well, he'd gone away for a bit, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember him.
He clotheslines them out, and Warrior's armband is sort of ripped off, which is prophetically used later on in the match. Vince isn't quite sure what it is until Perfect tells him. Vince just goes, "What is that? What do you think it is? It's his pants." Papa Shango then just wanders out, talking jibber jabber.
Was he late?
Yeah, and he grabs the band and then just fucks off. And I've put here that I can imagine him taking it to like a Warrior shrine like Helga in Hey Arnold.
Nothing like a Hey Arnold
reference. Bloody hell.
So the Nasties go for the pit stop, but Warrior reverses it. What are the chances of that? And Knobbs gets a sweaty face.
Well, shouldn't that power him up? Like, you know when they had shrink his headbutt at each other, Knobbs goes into Sag's armpit. He's like, "Rah!"
So your tag thing
nasty
is,
boys.
was that you got to smell each other's armpit?
Well, it could be like a power up.
Yeah. Ultimate beast.
Ultimate Knobbs.
Have to smell each other's arse then? Is that anything?
Oh God!
That's when they turn into the flying dragon. That's 3 orbs. That is done there.
I love an Alton Beach reference.
Well, Vince's floating head when he takes it all away.
Gimmick.
That's brilliant. That's your artwork, that is. Just Shango Warrior to the Nasty Boys. Rocksteady and Beaver.
So Warrior begins hulking up, but Jimmy Hart distracts the referee, and Sags just literally fucks him up with a chair, and then just leaves. He hits him with a chair. Yeah, he hits him with a chair or the back, and then he just walks off. That's it.
I thought he was at ringside for the match.
Yeah, he was off after that.
Yeah, he was, but he just goes.
Well played, Sags. Don't bugger off
He
at
just
all.
thinks they'll do.
Well, Warrior kicks out and then hits Knobs with a clothesline and a big splash for the win. And then Sags runs back out. He gets a double noggin knocker with Jimmy Hart. Now Shango comes out as Warrior's celebrating, but Warrior, standing literally 5 yards away, just ignores him.
Yeah, he celebrates.
Yeah, just celebrating, completely ignore him. But then starts to get appendicitis. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
He's a bit
my toilet.
He doubles over.
He's because in the background. I think the way he gets his attention, Shango gets his skull up though. He starts shaving him. Sell it.
I don't know.
He should have just chucked it at him.
Vince refuses to believe it's a voodoo curse and says it's appendicitis. Heel Perfect though says nah, it's the voodoo curse.
Well, you die from appendicitis.
Well, you don't die from a voodoo curse. Your gimmick does, but
stomach bug.
and Warrior is helped to the back as Shango just sort of
By his
wanders
friend.
behind him, doing shaking. And in the back we see Warrior projectile vomit over a sad-looking MET.
He's been saying I surrounded by his friends, and he fucking wears all garbage or what's his name?
Tony Greer, is it?
No, not Tony Greer. Renee Goulet and Strongbow. Strongbow's there.
He ain't his friend.
Then no one's friend.
Insist, probably.
Bret Hart in a shoot interview said this particular thing was second only to the gobbledygook in worst things.
And then he goes on to put over Shango, saying, I like Shango, he just needed a mouthpiece.
I just don't think you like Warrior, to be fair. But I'll ask you the thoughts on 1, the match with Knobs, and 2, the convulsion and yellow sick. So,
Yellow sick? The
yellow thick.
The match with Knobs, it was just a typical TV match, Warrior, to get the
Warrior
one
match. We've seen a lot of those matches.
Yeah, you get a main eventing against one of the tag. It always happens, though. And the thing afterwards is iconic for all the wrong reasons.
Iconic.
Yeah.
I thought it was bad. I thought the match was bad. I don't know why he's fighting Knobs. Why is he fighting Knobs? I ain't saying I'm clamouring for Sags like you. But why is he fighting Knobs? I don't get that anyway.
TV match.
But it was it was littered with DQs everywhere as well that they just overlook. Kayfabe boys. And then, the curse, I understand he's going to curse somebody, but then Warrior's obviously so cartoony. That's just so over the top.
It's too over the top, innit? Yeah, when you're properly convulsing.
And then give that man an Oscar.
It's just like everything now. You just think, this is just too over the top.
Yeah, it's too cheesy.
Even for cartoon wrestling, it's just ridiculous. So we head forward a few weeks, and after recovering from his bout of sickness, we get a Ultimate Warrior promo.
Alright, Ultimate Warrior. In light of the events of recent weeks, there has been a great deal of speculation about your physical condition. Indeed, are you threatened by Papa Shango, his curse, his spell, his voodoo, his black magic? Does it threaten you? You wonder, and those that do not believe wonder. For I stand before my warriors and you, Papa Shango, to let you know that any weakness in my physical condition recently has already been turned into a greater strength. How can a force of warriors such as these that leaves the entire world spellbound fall under a spell of your voodoo? All right, what you're saying then, Ultimate Warrior, this voodoo, this black magic, this spell, this curse of Papa Shango is not threatening you. What you're saying is that you, Ultimate Warrior, are in complete control of your destiny.
I have never been in control of my destiny. It is these warriors that stand behind me. These warriors that walk with me that are in control of such things. And I stand here to tell you that these warriors believe that the voodoo you possess is nothing but another challenge that must be stopped. A challenge that must be conquered. A challenge we will survive.
Wait a minute, what's that? What is it? What's that?
What is that, McMahon? Where did that come from? What's going on?
I'm speechless, McMahon. And so is he. The curse of Papa Shango strikes again. Has he really been cursed?
And an interview with Mean Gene where he's wearing a trendy sport coat. He looks like a jock from American Pie. And
But he still had to paint his face. Still got to go out with his paint.
Of course he has.
he gives a sort of semi-coherent promo about not being scared of Papa Shango's curse, which the crowd do pop for.
He was food poisoning.
And
That's what it was.
yeah,
What'd you eat then?
That bit of chicken.
and he's about to leave, and then black evil goo begins to run down Warrior's head.
He goes, we will survive out, and then it comes out and Vince goes, oh, what's that? What is that?
And then Warrior just goes all completely over the top.
He's probably
Warrior!
because he blood puts it to his head and he sees it dripping. That's what he's
I just could not believe this promo. So yeah, he starts screaming Warrior.
But he just carries,
And
he
then
like, looks
slowly
at his
walks.
hand and just walks off.
Yeah, it looks really sad.
They play his theme at the end there, don't they?
He's run off. He rubbed off again.
I just can't. Well, I won't ask you your thoughts on it. You pretty much summed it up, but it's just
Brilliant.
It's terrible.
Oh, that was
it's
terrible.
brilliant.
Because it's shit.
It's
That's
one of
what
the
it
things
is.
you are always going to remember, but it is completely for the wrong reasons. And I feel bad for Shango, because unless he wins this feud, he looks like a
dead.
fool. And you know what's going to happen. He's not going to win this feud. He would have been better off feuding with bloody knobs.
Or Tito.
Or Tito. At least Tito would have sold it better, like. I don't know. So, our next match takes us...
I could have set fire to the bull.
Well, our next stop takes us to Superstars taping from May 30th, 1992. I did say match. He's scheduled to face Brian Brigger. So Brian Brigger is wearing the most out of place yellow boots you will ever see of any jobber ever. Kids are shown
Proper
scared
jobber,
in the crowd as Shango comes out, and his entire... I put here, his attire makes him look a bit more plumpy because he's wearing like the big garb and he's got everything hanging from him now, isn't he?
Shango?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you meant the jobber.
No, not Brigger.
It's a jumper.
He's probably just plumpy anyway, eh?
They've really gimmicked him up now, haven't they?
Yeah, well, he gets in and he shakes his skull.
Twitches a lot,
thing.
though.
Yeah,
Got
twitches.
nervous twitch.
Mutters out some sort of curse.
Maybe he saw the bucket for the rest of the feud. Get him a nervous twitch.
And then the lights go out, and suddenly those awful yellow boots are vertical in the ring and on fire.
Well, the bottom of his
The bottom of his foot.
Maybe
Yeah.
he had cold feet.
There's audible screams as Finn screams that they have a fire in the arena. Not bothered about Brian.
No.
He's on fire.
No, they ain't bothered about him. He's only a jobber.
Fire! Fire!
What is that? He started it. What is that? There's a fire. There's a fire somewhere here in the building. Wait a minute.
And this when And the lights come back on. Shango's still in there.
And he's got black tar on his face as well, He
got black goo over Brian's head. But it's not like the thin, weak black goo that Warrior had. It's just like a splat.
Just bang,
It's a proper splat of it.
Yeah.
It's a proper dump.
Maybe that's what he did when the lights was off. He just wiped over it.
Shit on it.
Is this... what's this, Sam?
I don't know.
What's this?
This is 92.
Jack, thoughts on the frying feet?
Well, I mean,
Frying feet.
I understand them trying to make you scared of him by setting somebody on fire, but he's so pathetic.
It's weak, isn't it?
You know,
it would have been better if he'd have won the match.
If he'd have just won, it would have been more impressive than setting his soles of his feet on fire.
It's more memorable, and I'd imagine on an episode of Superstars, you're more likely to tune in next week if people are getting set on fire than to just see him beat a jobber. But for him as a character, like, he's beat Dale Wolf at this point, and made Ultimate Warrior crap himself.
And fucked up his cue.
He's done nothing.
Maybe Kane should have said that with his match at Austin in King of the Ring. Instead of setting himself on fire, I will set my foot on fire.
It's like what Tony Schiavone said though, isn't it? Well, we just hope someone's boot was going to catch on fire when he was on about the Human Torch.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Don't remind me of that.
Tony.
Yeah. We've seen what happens to Brian Brigger when his foot gets on fire. Bloody hell. So we head forward.
Some black splot on his head.
We head forward to another episode of Superstars where Shango is giving an interview to Mean Gene. Oh, we miss Mean.
Papa Shango, I've got to ask you, what is going on?
Ultimate Warrior, how does it feel not to be in control? Ultimate Warrior, how does it feel? You have entered the dark world of Papa Shango. You have stepped into my black circle. And that circle is closing on you.
Thank God that's over. Mean Gene Okerlund thanking his lucky stars that nothing happened out there. Wait a minute. What is that? Look, it's the curse of Papa Shango. What is going on? I have never seen anything like this before. Wow. Oh my God.
The commentators talk up Gene's fear as Gene recaps Shango's curses and magic tricks. Shango gives a solid promo about how asking Warrior how it feels to have Shango's curse on him. He goes over the spookiness of the character and goes to leave. And then Gene, unprofessionally, has like a big Ron moment on the microphone where he's going, thank God, that's over. You know, me, Gene, unprofessional.
Oh, I was slightly worried what you were going to say.
I'm not splicing that in.
No.
As Shango then just thinks, fucking prick, and turns round and then sort of throws his arm in the air and smoke bellows around Gene, who coughs, then drops his mic, and then the most pathetic dribble of black goo runs down Mean Gene's arm.
And then he cut to a fan who looks very confused.
Maybe that's why he had his massive arm for so long. That was his cursed one.
Or he still had the plaque to make it a thing and he hadn't done it, so it was starting to expand.
Oh dear.
Poor Gene.
So Gene sort of sells it as best he could.
What a trooper.
Yeah. I keep asking you this, but what thoughts on that?
Just carry on. Just carry on.
I understand they want him to curse somebody else, but it was so pathetic. Why would he just curse his arm? Why would he curse his whole body? I know
He can set people on fire.
I know it's because they can't put the mechanism to get the goo out of his head because he's got no air. They ain't going to do it from the back.
Well, they could have, the thing dropping down because it was a bit of a dark arena. I'm assuming that's how they
from
did
the
it.
roof. Yeah, they ain't bloodbathing people.
Black gooing people.
Black gooing people.
I'm tarring you.
Zumba.
So it was a commercial disaster. His feud with Ultimate Warrior. They never really had a chance, in fairness, because they never had a proper televised match. There was a few tapes that were released, but not a proper televised match.
Super tape or something like that.
And both of these two, a green Papa Shango and an Ultimate Warrior, that's always relied on people
and a
carrying
brown
him.
warrior.
Yeah. But they've always relied on other people carrying him at this point. So when they did house shows, they apparently stank up the joint.
Wanted to put Warrior with nails after this.
Well,
worse.
Exactly.
Let me give you a rundown of their house show business. Ultimate Warrior defeated Papa Shango on April 12th, 30th, 1st of May, the 2nd of May, the 3rd of May, the 4th of May, the 8th of May, the 9th of May, the 10th of May. And at one point, Papa Shango's losing streak to the Warrior was at 19. At one point. Which is, I mean, as much as I think that it's a sensible feud, it's just not a very good strategy to constantly make this guy's job down. The main concern at the time was keeping the Warrior hot going into his feud with Macho Man at SummerSlam. So they constantly just kept putting him over, Papa Shango, and this just buried him. As the feud between Papa Shango and the Ultimate Warrior began to draw to a close, and with SummerSlam fast approaching, the WWF were keen to wrap up the feud without giving Shango one win over his nemesis. I just don't understand that whole booking. It also included a 6-man tag loss, which sounds like the most disastrous match you could ever have watched, of the Ultimate Warrior and the Legion of Doom versus Papa Shango and the Nasties, which may be worse than Ultimate Warrior.
Did they paint up, or did he become a nasty boy?
There's one match.
I hope he come out to the Nasties scene
with one of the shirts. Shango boy. Voodoo boy.
Papa boy.
He lifts his arm and there's just black goo. And
Nasty Papa.
That would actually get over it. There's one match I did see, which we haven't watched because it wasn't in the run at the time. But there was a tag match on one of the things later on between Shango and Kamala v Bret and Warrior.
Yes.
Poor Bret.
I think was he? I think he was. No, he was world champ because it was given before Survivor Series.
Who's he? Oh,
Warrior was the
main event match, which we
yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I just saw Kamala come out with Shango and I just thought, I'm not going to watch this
that
shit.
mean Kamala was going to get paired up with Warrior?
Yeah, because there was the 6-man tag. I've saw these promo. I know I'm veering off here, but you had Razor, Nails and Kamala. Taker, Bossman and Warrior.
Yeah.
And Warrior's teaming with Savage. But Savage is off with Flair.
It's like there's literally between 1991 when Hogan loses the belt to Taker and probably until Bret properly wins the belt off Yoko, they had no fucking plans. I mean, Vince was likely to go to jail at this point, I suppose. So
he wouldn't have gone to
London and fucking obviously Sid Gooing probably.
Because he was going to feud with Warrior. That was the main
in his
thing,
basket. Then Warrior Hogan just kept popping in and out there when he could be armed.
Well, at the end,
have you got anything for me yet, brother? So we do.
His back, brother.
We were desperate to slot in some sort of Ultimate Warrior Papa Shango match into this run. So we've checked out the Coliseum video exclusive match. It will be on one of the sort of super tapes that'll be on the network. So if you have a search for
Bash
it.
in the USA or something. I think we watched it.
Rash in the USA.
In Cornwall, though.
Oh, they do. They
This
say
is
it's
the
in
one where they
Cornwall.
say it's in Cornwall.
Yes, that's it.
Cornwall, England. As Ultimate Warrior.
No wonder they want to leave England. You give us this shit.
Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior teams with Undertaker to go against Papa Shango and his partner, who could easily have had his own episode by now. The Viking Experience himself.
Bruiser Brody Light.
The Berserker.
Viking Experience.
Oh dear.
Hush! 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 Undertaker! You go get the Ultimate Warrior now, huh? Undertaker, you two ain't gonna look real big at the feet of me and Papa. You ain't gonna look real big when the devious one sits us on you, are you? Hush! Hush! Ultimate Warrior! Hush! The spell has been put on you! You have seen the powers of Papa Shango! Undertaker! You are not above approach! You dabble in the spirits! You know nothing about them! Deep Six! Unnatural black magic, Undertaker. I have had cause to walk in your world and try and understand. I shall let the past be the past for you, Papa Shango, and the Berserker from years past. You should know by now that the combination of the Ultimate Warrior and the Grave Walker, Undertaker, is something more deadly than you could ever deal with. Since making the WWF my personal burial ground, I've chose my souls very carefully. Now you've conjured up all that is evil and all that is good. The end is near.
We do get a lovely promo package at the start where both of them incoherently talk. And it comes to something when Dead Taker gives the best promo of the
because that Warrior says something like deep sex. The first thing he says, he's like,
deep sex.
I think he's meant to be deep six, but he says like deep sex.
Yeah,
because he actually he references his feud with him.
well, Undertaker actually balls up his lines a few times in it, and
he's
still
the
is the best one.
Poor Take. Why they pair her do any talking?
I don't know. Berserker just starts spitting out that he's going to kill Undertaker with Papa. He just keeps calling him Papa. Come on, Papa. And I like Berserker as well because he looks so mental and crazy and stuff, but his voice doesn't really suit it. His little voice. Oh, John Nord.
He does a bit. He does look mental, but he looks lovable at the same time.
Yeah, you would. It's like a crazy uncle.
He's harmless. He's harmless.
He's
Oh, they're
alright.
drunk in the corn.
Oh dear. I want a situation comedy where, like men behaving badly between Papa Shango and Berserker
On the network.
It'd be brilliant. Vince, book it.
Love thy name.
You say love and marriage.
The Voodoo and the Viking.
Voodoo and Viking. That'd be brilliant.
Booking with gimmicks.
So we head to a Coliseum exclusive, which is in front of probably the deadest crowd I've ever heard.
I wonder how many matches they had,
gonna
because
get
they used to
even
like
deader,
have
I
like
think.
30 odd matches.
I did note. Yeah, well, true. I did notice that Berserker loves a huss. He just constantly says huss all the way through.
That's what Brody did, but I don't think he did it as much.
Huss.
He's a Viking.
And he started out with Taker. Taker
Oh, do you
chokes
think
away.
they'll get the Viking experience to do that?
Oh, they can't do that.
They come out with swords.
Yeah, they definitely get out of them soft bloody horn hats.
Well, they're going to change the name again, are they, apparently?
Yeah, it's not
Let me take the piss.
Viking. It went from Viking Experience to Viking Raiders to Viking Warriors. Now it's being called
Viking Warriors.
Viking Warriors, so they can get away with saying Warriors.
War Warriors?
Fucking leave it. What's the point?
They'll call them the Berserkers sooner or later.
Well, they were going to call him, and they had to remind Vince that he had someone called the Berserker. in his one night. He
forgot about Berserker. How'd you forget about Berserker, Vince?
He should have a picture of him
Tries
next
to
to his Tyrannosaurus Rex.
No, he probably no. What he did, he said it because he wanted to forget it, but then he goes in his house on his own in the bedroom, he's got Berserker, and then they leave the memories alone. So he comes on, he's stroking it.
Could have had bro figure on the other side.
So Undertaker chokes away at Berserker, and he gets his mojo back, and it's a beautiful drop kick, which was really good from Berserker. I mean, he's got a lot of agility for a big bloke.
I've made a couple of notes here. I think it's Monsoon, because he usually says shit like this. And Alfred. Monsoon says Warrior and Taker complement each other. I don't think so. And one of them calls Taker a young man, but he's supposedly dead.
He can't be dead and young, though. He can't die young.
True.
He doesn't look young, does he?
You ain't going to be able to tell
that. Don't do it now.
No, well, yeah, he don't look young now. He definitely don't look young now.
He's cut. Oh,
I've got a note here where Berserker sells.
That's what I was going to say.
The what?
The vase.
Hayes, calls the urn a vase, a vase, or a verse.
A vase, a vase, or a vase.
Brilliant.
Does it matter?
It's
an urn for one.
So Warrior gets into zero pop, and when he gets in, he gets hit with Shango's voodoo stick.
This is when Monsoon
with your voodoo stick.
Oh, you gotta play that. Monsoon mentions that Warrior is a former champ, and I've just put next to it, so's Taker.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Two
former world champions in this match. Unbelievable.
Top
and this when Berserker just goes out and eats a sign.
Yes.
So he just grab his sign and start eating it.
Oh well, there's the heels double team now, which includes sort of like a blowjob style headbutt from Berserker. Very weird looking.
Oh,
I remember that.
The one thing I will say about this match is that I thought that the MVP in it was Berserker, which does
I've actually put that.
fair.
I've put Berserker equals workhorse.
He does. He works. He's proper workhorse.
He shouldn't.
No,
Because his character knows him.
That's
Well,
true.
to be honest, out of the other three, who's going to work? It should be Warrior.
Taker's playing the zombie.
Taker core, because it's a gimmick, and Shango's new.
I've got here that the crowd, if anything, get quieter.
No, they do.
Which is nearly impossible when they're silent at the start.
Below silence.
Taker gets a pop though, don't he?
Well,
he gets a little bit of a pop when he's like, yes, somebody else.
So yeah, Warrior hits a backdrop and Taker on Berserker, and Taker is in. There's a choke slam as Lord Alfred Hayes makes some lovely bumbling Englishman quips and ooh noises. Ooh. And Warrior is in.
I've been cooked.
Warrior is in. He hits a charge, a splash on Berserker, and pinfall for the 3.
At least it ain't pin Shango. See how he's saving grace.
I don't know what to say about this match. Jack?
It's one of the worst matches I've ever seen, I think. It felt like it was in slow motion for most of it. It was absolutely dreadful. It was like it was on a bouncy castle, really, in a sense.
Yeah,
because they were just all fucking jumping around, doing shit, and not connecting, and it was really bad. Really, really bad. No wonder they pulled the plug on both of the feuds. And then with the wrong person, really, are they? Why is Warrior with Shango and why is Berserker with Taker? Surely they should be the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. And I think that the reason that the Berserker and Taker feud didn't work is because Berserker was too cartoony and over the top. And the reason the Papa Shango and Ultimate Warrior feud didn't work is because Ultimate Warrior was too over the top. Yeah. And they made Papa Shango into a proper cartoon character. If they'd have just stuck them two together and had them battle over the darkness or something, it would have at least been...
Yeah, it's obvious when you look at Shango, you think, well, he could go with Taker.
Yeah,
It's a Taker feud.
Yeah.
And Berserker's mad.
Well,
and Warrior's mad. The only
thing I can think is maybe they was building up to it, but what they should have done is had Shango beat Warrior to then build into Taker. But obviously Warrior just won't.
Or Berserker beat Taker.
Break the streak with his sword.
Oh, I imagine that made it annoying. He's been better than Gonzalez.
3 of these will not make it to the next WrestleMania at this point. of these four.
I wonder which one.
Yeah, which one carries on?
Although, did Shango appear
Shango
in
was
a
on
dark
the
match?
was he?
He was in dark match against Tito.
Again?
Tito again.
Tito! Come here!
I'm going to jump with you. To the dark match.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, but they had a match that got cut. Why couldn't they put that on the dark match? Bam Bam v Kamala was meant to be on it. That was
Nine.
Yeah, that was advertised.
Even worse. 9.
Was that good? Yeah, I think because I think it
Bossman
was
should have wore a toga.
Has there ever been a good Mania?
Oh yeah.
Not around this time, there weren't. Definitely WrestleMania 9 will be reviewed. in a future episode. Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Tito.
So I think we can universally wrap that match up as awful. And that, in theory, should be the end of our podcast, because that's Warrior and Shango done.
Really.
But we are going to see out Papa Shango from here. It was voted in the PWI Wrestling Magazine as the worst feud of 1992. Is it the worst feud of all time?
Not of all time.
It's, it's memorable. Probably because it's so bad.
Yeah.
In its execution of what it was. I don't know, off the top of my head I can't think of very many worse of that year.
Nah.
Nails.
Not of that year, but
Nails Bossman was
Nails
pretty bad.
Bossman was
There
bad.
weren't very many good feuds in 92.
Not very
though.
many feuds. Half of them was
You look at Savage Flair was the carrier.
And Piper Bret.
Piper Bret up till, but that finished in March.
Vince v government.
Vince versus Hogan.
Nails Vince. That was good.
Hogan v Truth.
Yeah. That is
Did
brilliant.
Savage do after SummerSlam?
He lost the belt to Flair, and then he feuded with the Warrior, feuded with Flair and Ramon.
So Papa Shango's, his patience was rewarded with a shot on the most successful SummerSlam in wrestling history at the time on August 29th, 1992, as the Voodoo King was rewarded with a match against El Matador.
Yes.
Which was seen on some of them, but it was a dark match on the actual.
In the UK, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it wasn't shown in the UK, but it was shown in the US.
Yeah, there's 3 dark matches. There's that, the 6-man tag, and for some reason, in the middle of the card, Tatanka v Berserker.
The intermission match.
I think that was when they cut to. No, it was Repo Man Crush as well, because on OSW that I saw, apparently they went to bloody Andy Gray and what's his name going on about Monday Night Football with Norwich v Nottingham Forest.
Oh, that's brilliant!
On the pay-per-view on Sky Sports, they cut to them.
advertised Norwich v Forest.
Yeah, because it cuts to it, and Richard Keys actually says, "Sorry to interrupt SummerSlam, but we've got to talk about Monday Night Football."
Bloody monkey.
So this was on a Monday.
I will definitely splice that in.
I can't believe
that
that's
is amazing.
brilliant. Andy Gray v Hogan Mania. Make it happen.
And you'll forgive us for taking a moment or so out of SummerSlam to tell you about our Monday Night Football. We're in Norwich. Norwich against Nottingham Forest tonight.
Oh.
Andy Gray should have fought. He should have cursed
The racist v the sexist. Who are you cheering
What a tag team now. Sexist tag team.
One thing I did think is, obviously Wembley is absolutely packed, but the aisle is
that one.
so huge. Apart from the one child.
Apart from the kid who
There
went there
was
because
it,
of
yeah.
Logan.
And it just doesn't work. Papa Shango's entrance in the
Not in the broad daylight, no.
but anyway, we get shots of English
Can you imagine
kids
if there was a
scared.
manager for the FA Cup final, got the wrong date and started coming out and going, hang on a minute. Where's the goalpost?
Bobby Heenan mocks El Matador's hat, and we get a funny exchange with Vince
And then
about
when he
it
says he
being
should
called.
glue it on Oakland's head.
Well, yeah, he does, and he says he should call it a chihuahua.
And this is when he asks as well. He asks, "Who's the skull?" And Vince just said, "It's Shango's."
His own.
That's what I thought. Hang on a minute. He's not holding his own skull.
What's it on about?
Vince is
Male
mad.
wolves.
Well, it's a long show in it, so Shango starts out the match by attacking Tito, and we get a vicious splash, which gets our first Warrior manoeuvre from Vince.
Is this where he calls it Wembley the biggest bull ring?
Yes.
So yeah, I've been to Birmingham, has he?
For the UK fans there. Shango loses momentum and he's hit with a clothesline, which he sells badly. And the match spills outside with Tito on top. Shango is tossed back inside and sort of just wanders around a bit as Tito wobbles on the top rope before hitting a clothesline. The match is solid, but the timing is off, I thought, with both men.
It's too long.
Yeah, it was about 4 minutes. Shango gets on top of the match by clubbing blows, and there's weird chants which Heenan sort of talks up despite the commentary.
I didn't mention this. Heenan says, "I don't know if I want to see this." And I've put in brackets, neither do I.
Yeah, the UK fans didn't. They preferred to see Andy Gray. Forest Norwich. We hear air horns at this point, which is a sign of
UK.
Yeah, the UK and what they thought of this match.
Somewhere in, is it Texas? Billy Gunn was frightened
himself. Tito wrestles back control and hits 10 punches in the corner. And then he sets up and nails Shango with a running forearm. But Shango kicks out of Tito's finish.
I won't tell you finished, brother.
Big match feel now.
Tito then misses a charge at Shango and is tied up
in
a shoulder breaker. And Shango, at 6 minutes and 12, gets his first main roster win on our run as the flakes of...
On a pay-per-view.
Yeah, as the flakes of paint fall away from his face.
Oh, his paint always looked like you could just peel it off, like one of them... beauty masks that women wear.
He's halfway through Thanos. Sticking his fingers.
So he did that, but he died quite quick. So
he just did like a little one, and then half of his paint went.
Don't worry.
I don't know. He probably did that in his career. He
was restored in 1995 with a completely different gimmick.
I don't know. I think he'd like snap his own fingers with that gimmick.
Give me that gauntlet.
Vince is Thanos.
I hope Vince don't go and watch Endgame, because you can see the characters he's going to bring in. It's going to be horrible.
I saw it yet.
No spoilers. Don't spoil Endgame. Yes, I've seen
it. Know Endgame.
I don't know what this is. Is that Norwich Forest?
That is the Endgame. Thoughts on Papa Shango El Matador at Wembley?
Just put 3 out of 10, awful match. Shango sold too much.
3 out of 10 is awful. Bloody hell, you've got high standards there. Jack?
Well, I thought it was his best match so far, which ain't saying a lot, because
I agree.
A lot of it was shite. But, Tito, he's a good worker. I just think it shows that Shango he was pushed too quick, really. Not in terms of gimmicks,
I just think this match could have happened 6 months ago on WrestleMania, or 4 months ago on WrestleMania to build him up, rather than him just coming out in a botch spot and then getting his ass kicked.
Tito instead of Sean v Tito.
Yeah,
what would Sean have done then?
I don't know. I'm just saying, it doesn't have to be Tito particularly. It could have been Skinner. But yeah,
Shango did fight Repo Man on one of the superstars.
Repo Man was obviously the face, he told you.
Yeah,
Repo Man wants to be a face.
Because I remember seeing, obviously with this, I was looking on YouTube for Shango match. That's where I saw the Kamala tag, and then I saw that. I thought, what the fuck's this? Who's the face?
Who's the road agent?
Vince wasn't done trying to push Shango as his major heel. After 1992 SummerSlam, he was paired up with The Undertaker.
Too late.
Much higher up in the pecking order, and he was jobbed out on all the house shows to Undertaker. But before we discuss his jobbing out to Undertaker, we actually get to see it as we go to the Coliseum exclusive for Invasion of the Body Slammers. Undertaker versus Papa Shango.
That's a brilliant.
Do you think Vince, if he wanted to do like the old In Your Houses, these would have been the names?
Invasion of the Body Slammers.
Yeah, and like In Your House, Smack 'em, Whack 'em.
That was sounds a bit more cartoony.
Yeah, you know, they've got
In your house, great balls of fire.
Oh, God.
Our commentary team is Jim Ross, Bobby Heenan, and the Macho
So you
Man.
can tell this was voiced over in '93.
Well, yeah.
When the match happened
you get
in
that.
the summer of '92.
I just love the Macho Man opens up by saying Undertaker is his strangest pal.
And this way, Macho Man actually doesn't know what mesmerised means.
Yeah.
Because somebody said it. Because I
Yeah.
don't know what that means. You don't know what icon means either, does it?
It's a bird.
Oh,
I
brilliant.
love you, Savage.
So we get shots of thumbs down for Shango and signs and cheers
I'm
for
not
Taker.
scared anymore. They're just
Nah.
one thumb down.
Yeah.
You could beat anyone.
We know what's happening here.
Yeah. Well, we get a nice stare down as the commentary. Oh God, they're all over the place. It's brilliant in many ways, but awful in others. Both men get early chokes before a very early in Taker old school this hit on Shango,
Yeah.
like pretty much like the third move in the match is the old school.
Gotta go home, brother.
Taker is dominant and on top as he beats down Shango, but Shango gets a clothesline to Taker to the outside, but obviously Taker hits it and falls on his feet, which he does in pretty much every match back then. He hits a guillotine stunner on Shango, and the referee's distracted as Shango sets off his sparkler in the face of
What is
Undertaker.
What the fuck?
He's got a spooter!
Why is it not fire?
No.
Why is it sparks? What the fuck?
But Savage builds up.
He saves that for the feet.
Savage builds up that this possibly could be Undertaker's first loss in the Federation.
I think we just saw The Undertaker getting his first defeat right here. This is something unbelievable.
But it can't be.
He
He
won
lost
the
to
champ.
Taker. He lost to Hogan, sorry.
He did.
Yeah, he got the belt. So he's obviously lost.
He's mad.
Savage.
This is an armed
He
race.
didn't win the Rumble either.
No. Shango hits Taker with a chair on the outside as Paul Bearer threatens to toss the urn at him. He does love Paul Bearer's threatening to throw the urn at him. And then he just fucks off.
I'll belt it at you, you bastard.
I'll throw it.
Taker takes his normal knee spot into the steel steps as Shango tosses him into it. Taker's down but not out as he's hit with 3 consecutive slams and every time sits up. And on the 4th slam, Shango goes crazy with the elbows and Taker still sits up, literally just shitting on every move that he can put in at this point. And then Taker comes back with a huge clothesline, a choke slam for the win. No tombstone. Shango went, not taking
Fuck
that.
that, I'm a big man.
Thoughts on this, Jack?
It's very character driven, but I don't mind the match, but it does bury Shango
Yeah,
a
it
lot
just kills him.
again
Yeah.
on TV as well this
Yeah.
time, which is even worse.
I just don't get it. I don't get what they obviously must have given up at this point. If he doesn't get
Yeah,
a
I think they
DQ
have.
win
Yeah.
or something, you know, it's just
Yeah,
crazy.
he got a visual win over anyone.
This could have been the
Apart
blow
from
off.
Tito.
This could have been the blow off to.
You've been cursed!
This could have been the blow off to a longer term feud. You know,
There's money
at
in it,
a
boy.
Survivor Series or something.
There's money in it, I think.
Yeah, I think so. At this point, with that roster, it definitely is.
There's fuck all
There's nothing else.
Tatanka.
Typhoon.
So Undertaker,
Tatanka.
Tatanka. Piss him off.
Undertaker would get victories on house shows on September the 12th, 13th, 15th, 19th, 20th. And you could tell at this point he was just literally enhancement talent until he got a reprieve by defeating the Big Boss Man via countout on September the 22nd on an episode of Primetime Wrestling.
Is this because of nails by any chance?
Possibly, I don't know. We didn't see it. I
I
don't want to
imagine
see it.
nails in Shango.
Shit.
So yeah, they then split Undertaker and Papa Shango up. Taker went off with Kamala, and Papa Shango is now #1 contender as we head
obviously.
to an episode of Saturday night's main event, where Shango's big moment is: can he beat Bret Hart to become the world champion? So Shango heads to the ring as we go backstage, and Bret Hart gives an interview with Gene.
I I'm proud to have standing next to me the newly crowned World Wrestling Federation champion Bret the Hitman Hart, who recently made history in Saskatoon when he got the then-champ Ric Flair to say I quit with that painful leg lock known as the sharpshooter. And tonight, Bret Hart, your first network title defense here on Saturday night's main event against 300-pound plus Papa Shango.
You know, in a situation like this, all I have to do is think about my father. You know, my father was one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, and I come from a real big family. I got 7 brothers. You know, and ever since I was like this tall, he's been taking all me and my brothers down to the basement. We got a little room down there, we call it the dungeon. His little wrestling mat down there, and he's taught us wrestling. He's taught us how to be tough. He's made us fight, and I learned hold after hold after hold, and I learned to never quit. And I took all that knowledge, and you know, it was my big dream to find myself in the World Wrestling Federation 8 years ago. And before long, I worked hard enough, and I dug in, and I dedicated myself. I found myself co-holder of the tag team titles. And you know, whether you win or lose isn't important, because you keep learning. You learn from every single match, and you learn from every single opponent. You know, it was a big dream for me to find myself the Intercontinental Champion. I never thought I'd get higher than that. But as I stand before you right now, I am the World Wrestling Federation Champion. This is a dream come true. And Papa Shango, he's not going to take it away from me.
All right, he exemplifies determination. Tonight, will Papa Shango make Bret Hart's dream come true turn into a nightmare? Vince, back to you.
Gives a solid enough promo about his goals in the WWF and exceeding them, and how his dad would abuse him in the dungeon for hours.
Excuse me.
Well, there you go.
This isn't therapy, Bret.
Why are you giving the animal hospital to that?
I don't know. Well, he was a paedophile.
So Bret gets a solid pop from the crowd as he enters, and Vince talks up the ladies, liking what they see. I think Vince liked what he saw.
Vince?
Yeah.
You crazy bastard.
The story early on in the match is Bret trying to take Shango off his feet as they talk up Shango's size. Bret looks in good nick with good early offense as he takes Shango down. Bret sends us off to the commercials with a nice dive over the top onto Shango. Shango reverses a charge in the corner from Bret and gets the upper hand as we're told by Heenan that Papa is going to put the mojo on him. Whatever that is.
Rolly.
No.
What is that?
God. Mojo Jojo.
He's coming back in here, old Mojo, with a split personality thing
Like
in here. Something.
Well, he had come back. He had a vignette with his cracked eye or
Broken
something.
mirror and the blue paint on the eye.
Yeah.
But he wore on Raw this week, so.
Shango gets him in a bear hug, but the heels. But heel Bret bites Shango's face, which he sort of commends.
Yeah.
Says, yeah, he should.
Yeah, hang on. This is what I've put here. Bret gets out of the bear hug by rubbing Shango's head and then bites it.
Like an apple.
Rub it. Well, he couldn't rub his head on his eyes.
Look at his head.
I put here that, I mean, well, Shango hits a headbutt to the groin of Bret and then puts him in a high chokehold and a nerve lock. But it's probably as solid as we've seen Shango look, in fairness, as he gurns
needs a
away.
smaller guy to work with.
Oh, he needs a worker.
Well, he doesn't need a worker. And to be honest, it's either Bret, Shawn, or Savage at this point.
Yeah.
And he ain't going to fight Flair.
Or Tito.
Bret manages to fight back and breaks out of a second nerve hold and counters with a running nothing. Counters a running nothing by Papa Shango. But Shango manages to get momentum back with a turnbuckle drop on Bret. He hits multiple elbows before going for a third and missing what is one of the worst diving elbows you will ever see. It's awful. Bret hits a Russian leg sweep and gets a 2 after a back body drop, and a further 2 count after a middle rope clothesline. Vince is now close to orgasm on the mic as he's proper building it up. Papa again misses a running nothing and this time just falls over and holds his legs up for Bret.
I remember that. Come on, I know how this is finished.
Yeah, as Bret Hart locks in the sharpshooter, Heenan begs Papa Shango not to quit, but he does. And then we get the brain scan of he sort of spells champ randomly, doesn't he, Bobby? So he's both good and awful in it.
Imagine that on Monday Night Football. Like at half time.
No, you mean English football.
Yeah, English football, but
that'd have been the weirdest formation ever if they was playing
it's bloody Jamie Carragher on like the last one. If Liverpool win, he goes, look, here's Salah, here's Mane. He just says, there you go, he just write it down. Look at that! Look at that, don't spit.
Stop spitting at children. You dirty man. So his first and only World Championship opportunity in WWF comes to a halt, and Bret retains over Papa Shango. Thoughts on that match, Jack? Thoughts on that match, Sam?
It's his best match, obviously, because he's working with Bret, who is champ. So there's obviously it was obvious that it was going to be his best match. The only thing I don't like is that he taps out or quits. I know it's ultimately the goal of the match is just to make Bret look strong more than make Papa look strong.
Quick roll up, maybe.
But maybe a pinfall would have saved him a little bit more than. But overall, it does what it says on the tin, which
it's
is
more to put over Bret.
Which by this time, anyway, his character's dead anyway.
You've used him up. You've used him up.
You have.
Jack, Sam, can you add anything to that?
No, just I think he should have got a little bit more offence in than just jumping nothings and having his head rubbed to break up a submission. But it did what it needed to put over Bret.
Put in that it wasn't a happy Christmas for Papa Shango, as on Boxing Day he lost to the Undertaker twice. They did a double shot and he lost them both. Yeah, on Boxing Day, and he would lose further 8 times between Boxing Day and New Year's Day.
I was happy you just said
8 times
between then.
Yeah. He must have done double shots.
Yeah, they did double shots. I was really thinking then, is he going to say between Boxing Day and the 27th?
Yeah.
8 shows in a day?
Goldberg.
So, can a good showing at Royal Rumble 1993 save us and save Papa Shango and turn him into a main event star? So those watching on the network should hit play at hour 1, minute 29 and 30 seconds as Bob Backlund and Ric Flair, numbers 1 and 2, are going at it as the buzzer hits, and our number 3 entrance is Papa Shango.
Yes.
Now he walks in and hits and beats down Bob.
Oh, they should have done the gimmick where he appear for a while and then just slowly comes in.
Yeah, that's good.
What's going on?
He beats down Bob Backlund and hits him with a headbutt and a choke, and he goes for elimination, but Ric Flair pops up behind him, lifts his leg over the rope and eliminates him. How long was he in?
28 seconds.
28 seconds later, Papa Shango's career in WWF.
He was injured apparently though with this.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, he had somebody. We need people.
Why put him in? I don't think anybody was like clambering for him to be in.
Yeah, but he
just don't put him in.
Well, he shouldn't have been in that match. I agree, because
if he's injured, don't put him in.
Yeah,
well,
simple.
The Tide didn't. Well, shall I ask you your thoughts on that?
He was there.
Yeah.
Well, it's the wrong person eliminating him. Why is a heel eliminated? Why is Flair eliminated?
You could have given Bob the rub.
It should have been Bob, which we'll cover in a minute for his next match. It should have been Bob. It should have eliminated him. And if they're going to do it quick, do it like Warlord and do it really quick.
Oh, like when Hogan in
proper reaction in Bob Bang.
Is it in Bob Bang?
In Bob Bang. Bear.
So after the Rumble, the Tide didn't turn immediately for the Papa Shango character. In March, he made his debut on Raw, WWE Raw, as he lost to Bob Backlund on March the 15th. Jack, you watched that match. Anything of note that you want to mention about March the 15th Raw?
It's very bad, so I wouldn't watch it if I was you. If I was you, I would ignore that ever happened, because it's very slow.
Well, he would look up at the lights once again, and this time at the brightest lights of all, WrestleMania 9 on April the 4th, in a losing dark match against El Matador.
He was beating him at August.
Yeah,
now
he's losing to him.
When you're putting over the bloke who's there to put people over, you know you got a problem.
So there you go. Wrestling Territories would do whatever they could to secure survival in the new dog-eat-dog world of wrestling. This included striking deals with Vince McMahon and working in unison with WWF, which is what Smoky Mountain Wrestling did in 1993, and later USWA did as well with Jerry Lawler's unison. There were shots of Shawn Michaels, Owen Hart, Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, Macho Man, Tito, all going down to USWA.
Tito.
They were all heels as well.
Yeah, Vince was Mr. McMahon.
Vince was Mr.
He had the
McMahon.
belt, he took the Conquer and John Gonzalez, didn't he?
Which hopefully, if it ever appears on the WWE network, we will potentially look at doing a review of in a future episode, because it would be interesting.
Stone Cold Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, he was. Oh God! God no!
I just crowned your ass.
How are you going to put over Jerry Lawler when he's getting done for rape a couple of months later? I mean, what the hell?
Oh God! Bill Dundee.
Yeah. Yeah. And Papa Shango was another name heading to the USWA, and after nearly 2 years when he left the company, he went down to the USWA in Memphis on May the 3rd, 1993. So, yeah, Papa Shango, 2 years after he'd left the company to join the WWF's juggernaut, he heads back to the USWA to face Jerry Lawler on May the 3rd, 1993 in a USWA World Title match. Because he was WWF at the time, I assume that made him number one contender. Lawler enters the arena to rubbish Regal music. If you want to check this match out, it is on YouTube. It's not the best quality, we do warn you, but feel free to check it out. Shango enters to Shango Tango, which was a surprise, but I suppose WWF were in things. Jerry Lawler beats down Shango with really good punches. Lawler does really give him a good wallop, do he?
Hey, Johnny Polo managing Shango.
He was the manager for Owen Hart and loads of people down there. It was weird.
Raven down.
Yeah.
Who the fuck hired Raven?
Shango with a running nothing against Lawler keeps Lawler on top. The footage, as I say, is very choppy, and we're outside as Shango attacks Lawler. He hits him with his staff, which the commentary team just don't know what it is.
Yeah,
they just call it whatever.
I had a DQ though.
Yeah.
Tell the ref seat.
No, DQ was in 93.
Not in Memphis. Shango hits a standing suplex, and his paint looks like cheese string at this point as he's hanging from his head. Papa then misses an awful leap, and Lawler drops the strap. He hits a back body drop when Johnny Flamingo jumps up to distract Lawler. And just as he distracts the referee, Lawler tosses fire in the face of Shango.
Yeah, that was his gimmick. He stole it from the Sheik. He used to throw fire.
But he's a face.
He used to throw fire.
He's a face, though.
I don't.
And he's a king. Why is he throwing fire?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
No, it's me, the
It
fire
gets a
king.
pop. It gets a pop, even though it's a heel. Sure enough. To confirm this, Shango then attacks Lawler with his skull, which
Shoots fire.
And gets booed. And then, whilst Flamingo is unimpressively sort of distracting the referee, Shango hits a bulldog. Fucking hell. And wins the USWA champion.
He won with a bulldog.
A bulldog?
How'd you win a belt with a world belt with a bulldog?
He just shot.
And he's a voodoo man.
Don't ask. Just keep that bit.
I think that sums
says
it
it
all.
all.
I can't
Says
sum
it
it all. Shango would continue in the USWA later on, and he would drop the belt to Owen Hart in an equally awful match. But we're not done with Shango in the WWF just yet. So we're heading to two final matches then. First of all, a match with what was pretty much enhancement talent at this point. Typhoon versus Papa Shango. And in a Better Call Creative first, Sam, over to you with your notes on that match.
My first note is, oh God. There's no entrance for Shango.
There's no entrance.
I don't even know if Typhoon gets it. I've actually put as well the next note, because I think obviously I put a few notes after. I put this match is 6 minutes. Fuck. Test of strength denied. Awful elbow drop from Typhoon. Hayes says both men are quick.
Is Michael Hayes on the commentary?
No, Lord Alfred Hayes.
Alfred Hayes.
That'd be even
The
worse.
fact that he calls them move quick and they're so slow.
Typhoon
And then I've just put shellacking.
Gives him a good shellacking, yeah.
Good shellacking. Typhoon is very jiggly.
Oh, yes.
And then sparks come from his stick.
Yeah, so
He
it goes to
attacks
the outside,
Typhoon.
yeah.
There's a DQ finish, and I've put a question mark, and then I've just put next to it, for fuck's sake. And then the bell rings while they're still wrestling. Yeah, carry on. He says Typhoon heard bell in his head.
He did, because everybody else
heard it. That was, I think that was the best thing. Yeah, like, how can Typhoon think he heard the bell in his head when everybody heard it?
It's just Lord Alfred Hayes didn't hear it.
What the fuck's going on with Hayes?
I don't know.
Watch it, it's brilliant.
So, yeah, if you can get Typhoon versus Papa Shango, give it a watch. Jack, do you have
The only thing other note Ahmed was Typhoon has very tiny arms. Very small arms.
Very tiny but very fat.
He's very fat, but he's very tiny.
Tiny arms, you T-Rex.
T-Rex arms.
Oh, goodness me. Well, if that wasn't enough fun for you...
Match of the review. I'm saying it now. Match of the review. Yes.
Typhoon Shango.
Yes. It's so bad.
Jesus.
Our last viewing of Papa Shango is a Superstars match in 1993 with Jim Duggan.
And it was a King of the Ring qualifying match.
King of the Ring qualifying match.
And it was on Mother's Day.
Loved the King of the Ring qualifying at the time. Yes. Is this where they do all the Bobby Heenan references with his mother?
Yeah, because King of the Ring qualifier on Mother's Day, and I've put in brackets, what a present.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we should have given Bob for Mother's Day. Yeah, Bob, watch this.
And I believe Hacksaw is in his singlet, is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hiding his belly.
Fat singlet.
He's fat at this point.
So, yes, Sam, do you want to send us home with your review of this match?
Right. Aggressive USA chant from a woman. I think it cuts to a woman and it's really aggressively shouting USA. Oh, them evil Haitians. Duggan sells by shouting ho.
As a woman.
As his one. Yes.
Is that when he turns heel?
Oh!
Pointing at people.
That got people over the attitude here.
Yeah, maybe that's what he was doing secretly in his own head. He looked at one and did it, and he saw it.
Oh, brilliant.
Then I've just put rest hold, 3-point stance, Duggan wins clean, typical WWF match.
Do you think, coming back to that then, because he was shouting ho, and he was later the Godfather, who he was fighting, this was gimmick infringement?
Shango was looking up the lights. And his light bulb went off.
One of the lights went off and thought, why am I jobbing to Duggan?
Yeah, he jumps to Duggan with a clothesline. Jack, have you got anything to add to...
No, it was endless chin lock. There was half of the match was a
Chin lock city, bitch.
That's what it was. It was awful, and it just felt like this is it.
Was this to make
it?
Yeah, definitely. It was the end. Was this to make it to the main show?
Yeah, because
so had he won,
fought Bam Bam.
He would have fought Bam
Bam. And Bam Bam fought Typhoon in the qualifier.
On King of the Ring.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And whoever won that would have fought either Tatanka or Luger.
Oh, God, this gets better. Fancy booking
and Mr. Hughes got to the King of the Ring. He beat Kamala in his qualifier.
Bloody hell, you know him.
Your roster's
shit on when Mr. Hughes
and
is above
Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect beat Doink 3 times to get to the King of the Ring because they had a no contest twice, so they had to do it a 3rd time.
King of the Ring 1993. That might be a review in itself.
The whole thing, the tournament.
We'd have to do a tournament.
Oh, gladly.
So there you go, and that is Papa Shango done in the WWF. Obviously.
Oh, it was done long time ago.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. Yeah, Papa Shango was done in the WWF. He did appear recently on WWE Network as part of the Hardy's Halloween.
Yes, you did.
Oh, and Xavier Woods dressed as him there, because the New Day used to do
They did all three gimmicks.
Yeah, the common Mustafa, Shango,
Brilliant.
and Godfather.
I love that. I
Brilliant,
absolutely love that.
And then they did the managers, but for some reason Big E was Akeem.
Oh yeah,
Kofi said, he goes, oh, we're more managers. For one, Kofi was Jimmy Hart. No, Kofi was Brother Love. Xavier was Jimmy Hart, and then Big E was Akeem. Because he even said there, he had his picture thing. I don't know why he's Akeem.
No, makes no sense. But the legacy of Papa Shango does live on through the band Papa Shango, with such hits as Christmas in Norwich.
That's for you, Norwich fans.
Sniff the Milk, and obviously the main song of Papa Shango, Danger Wank. Which,
do you think that's like the late night version of Danger Mouse?
Danger Wank. So yes, shout out to Papa Shango, and check them out on Spotify. But in wrapping up the episode, I'll throw to you first, Jack, and tell me the highlight of Papa Shango.
Oh God. Is there a highlight? Probably his promo, his very first vignette, burning the cross. Even though that was still bad, it was probably his best bit, or his match with Bret.
Sam,
though he jumped.
make a mockery of that question. And
No, I will agree with him, but me personally, it is the typhoon thing. No, that's sort of like a hidden gem. If you want a good laugh, watch it.
Hidden gem on the neck.
Yes.
Typhoon v Django.
Yes.
God.
Obviously, the high points was what you said. His vignette
Bret.
against Warrior and his match with Bret, because he actually looked like what he should.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Bret match is definitely the only match worth watching on the whole run.
The match was alright, but I think it was just too similar.
Yeah, it
Just
was
killed him.
It was just a Taker's house show match.
Yeah, it was
He just did destroy him. Low light, Jack.
Everything else. Everything else, but probably that tag match. That tag match is one of the worst matches I've ever seen.
I can't think of a single thing I've watched.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I'll probably agree that tag match. I mean, how can Berserker be the worker in that?
Yeah, when Berserk is your worker, you got a problem here.
I like saying it because it rhymes.
And I assume we all believe that this is worthy of Better Call Creative Review.
Yes.
Dave Meltzer, review it. Jack, I'll give you a 5-star review of Papa Shango. What's your score?
Minus
of his career, you mean?
Of his run.
-4.
Sam?
-3.
I would probably go -4 as well. The only thing I'll
image.
His image is what gives it.
It wasn't his fault.
And it really wasn't Charles Wright's fault.
No, he's not licking feet.
No,
it wasn't his fault. It's because they
he burned feet and he licked feet.
It's
the booking. Vince's fault.
Is this the best of Charles Wright, or is it the worst? Though, where would you rank this in his
gimmicks?
Gimmicks in WWE.
Second.
I think I would as well.
It's the second most memorable, ain't it?
Well, Godfather's the best. And then
he got the Hall of Fame.
Then it's probably Papa, but I did like Goodfather.
Yeah,
I like the Goodfather.
There was some bits you could have changed with that. I mean, you've always said just call him Charles Wright.
I should have just called him Charles Wright.
But obviously he don't like it, did he himself?
No.
And he don't like Stephen Richards for some reason.
That made RTC though having him in it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just bull.
You need a pimp and a porn star. Val Venus.
And the porn star.
What did you say?
Pimp the porn star and the bull.
The pimp, the porn star and him.
That sounds like a bloody sitcom.
Sounds like a bar joke. A pimp, a porn star and Bob Buchanan walk into a bar.
Well,
Stevie Richards goes, what are you doing here?
Stevie Richards says, gimmick.
Well, that segues nicely into what we now do, is all three of us will take it in turns to attempt to rebook Papa Shango better. And as I have no notes, I will go last and throw over to you first, Jack, to rebook Papa Shango.
Well, here we go then. So, January to April, I would just have him win squash matches.
Yep.
Build his character, get him in ring, get him used to the ring, because he ain't been wrestling very long anyway.
Yep.
And just get the audience used to it. April to August, I would feud him with El Matador, because El Matador has everybody new to put him over, because that's his job, that's his role, and he's good at it.
Yeah.
Right, so he's right. El Matador. Well, Papa Shango would fight a jobber.
Yeah.
And he would try to possess the jobber.
Okay.
It can be Dale Wolf. That's fine. He's got to sort out which club he supports there. And then Matador is going to save it. Save the jobber. Save the jobber. Not Manchester. He's going to save the job. Wolf. And then Papa Shango is going to make it clear in little vignettes that El Matador is now the focus of Papa Shango.
Yep.
Over the months, there'll be promos, and when Matador's fighting jobbers, Papa Shango is going to possess them.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's a voodoo man. You're going to get over his voodoo. He'll never possess El Matador, though. He only possesses the jobbers that he fights. And then, this is my piece de resistance of the feud, right? El Matador, the coup de grace. Me and Gene is interviewing El Matador in a bullfighting arena. Yep. Yep, and he's talking to him about his bullfighting, and El Matador's putting himself over and talking about Shango. And there would be, like, either smoke or a noise, and the camera would pan out, and Papa Shango would be on a mountain in the distance, right? Shouting, Goomba! Or whatever. With his skull flaming or whatever. Oh, and then the bull that El Matador is Johnny. Johnny the Bull and Buchanan that he's training with. He's possessed by Papa Shango. It's not just humans, it's animals as well. If
there's any time for the animal hospital thing to play.
Exactly. He possesses the bull, right, and it rampages.
Yeah.
And El Matador has to sacrifice the bull and kill the bull. You don't see that's off camera. You can just have Gene doing and he kills the bull. And then Matador then looks in the camera or looks off at Shango on the mountain, still do that. And obviously, because it's not
damn you, Doomba!
It's not a noble kill. Obviously, bullfighting's all about you fight the bull and then it's a noble kill at the end. This isn't a noble kill because he's possessed him. So the bull's dog.
So he running up the mountain with his sword going after it.
Points the sword like Link. Says you're next. Obviously, it's not a noble kill. He's not died with honour, the bull. So this is gold. This is TV gold. Vince was good as naughty cat. I've not made him worse. I've made him better.
That's the stake he had. That's what he said.
The possessed bull. So at SummerSlam, it's Shango versus Matador. I might have Shango with the head of the bull, but that's probably too much.
Coming out with it. All riding
you
it.
Bastard.
Come back to life.
It's like a Mortal Kombat, a Revenant bull. And then Shango wins, obviously. So that's that feud done.
Yep.
September to December, there's no possession of bulls now. It's just quick mini feuds, really. You'd have one with Virgil. Yeah, don't hate me, but I've had to use the roster that's available. And then I would probably put him in a little feud with Crush. Because I think Crush is a decent worker.
Okay.
And
who's leading that match?
They can have... Well, Crush, really. I mean... They ain't big feuds, but they're just on TV. There's no Survivor Series match for him. But it's just keeping him on TV, keeping him fresh, and still having him beat incredible stars. Obviously with job matches and things like that. January to April is the build to Mania, and it's going to be Taker versus Papa Shango. So in the Royal Rumble, they'd both have a stare down, and Taker would eliminate Papa Shango. And on the funeral parlour, with Taker and obviously Paul Bearer, there would be a casket that's then on fire behind them.
That's possessed.
And then out of it emerges Papa Shango, and he beats down the Undertaker and takes the urn. Ooh. So it's the pair
Hang on,
of...
am you booking the common staff v Taker?
He ain't melting it down. But it's...
You booking 95 3 years before.
I forgot that happened, actually. So it's the power of voodoo versus the power of the urn, really.
Yep.
And Shango, because he's took the urn, keeps getting the better of Taker over the coming weeks, and he always looks strong over him on TV and everything, leading up to WrestleMania 9.
Yep.
WrestleMania 9, Taker wins. Hoss fight. I want a big Hoss battle, and I want Taker to prevail in a good back and forth contest, but Taker wins.
Yep.
And I want it to be that we can get rid of the urn, and now Taker's more human and less zombified, so he can now actually be more of a worker, which is what the whole feud would be really driven towards, getting that away from Taker and pushing him as a main star, as a sort of a wrestler in a sense.
Yep.
May to August, it would be putting Owen over. So it'd feud with Owen Hart, just to give Owen Hart the push that I think he needed, and to push him up to the card. So up the card, because he's still, after his year, credible in a sense. So Owen can overcome. Can he overcome Papa Shango? Well, the answer is yes. It beat him.
No.
It beat him at King of the Ring. No,
The bird.
Start shitting everywhere.
Oh, it's just like flying around and pecking.
Start pecking Coco. Coco's in the hospital with an eye patch because he's took his eye out. But yeah,
and then we just see the parrot at the window staring at him.
Owen would beat
Just walking through bar.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, he could possess him, and then his voice could come out the parrot. Oh man!
Oh God!
Awesome.
Vince is gonna love this.
Merch!
That's merch. But anyway, Owen would beat Papa on King of the Ring. I've kept him to
Papa the Parrot.
Papa the Parrot. Gives Owen the win, and then Shango can then. He has to go because he did.
Yeah, well, that's when he
went.
Before we go on to Sam,
he's winning.
Yeah, please let us know what you think about Mel Matador killing a bull.
He's possessed though.
Shango of possessing animals.
Sam beat that.
Cool. God, you should have gone last. Right, man. The very short notes, to be honest. But what I would do is not have him running at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I would obviously leave that. I would have him attack Warrior and around May or June to sort of set up the match for SummerSlam. To lead up to that. Obviously he may fight jobbers and whatever and show his voodoo. The build up is the same, he does his curse and whatever. Try and have Warrior tone it down a bit, mate. Warrior would go over at SummerSlam because obviously it's Warrior, otherwise he'll refuse to show up like he did the year before. But then I would have Shango took off TV, obviously physically, he worked the house shows and whatever, but he would, during Taker's matches, certain things would start happening after he's won, and little curses and the jobbers bleeding black nonsense, tar and what have you. But then at the Rumble, Taker's in, it would be the same thing, but it's Shango instead of Gonzalez that would come and beat him up and eliminate him, which would then lead up to Mania, because you got all the spooky nonsense that can build it up and what have you. Taker would win at Mania by DQ. You gotta keep the streak. DQ
win.
Yeah, because you want to keep
at Mania.
He beat Gonzalez, but it wouldn't be by
chloroform.
I was going to say styrofoam. By chloroform.
That's even worse.
Obviously, he would beat him down and keep beating him to have Taker laid out and have him took out.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't obviously sit up and come back with puffy hair like he did against Gonzalez. He would be gone and obviously he'd be there laughing and what have you. And he'd disappear. Then the build up to the King of the Ring is exactly the same. He would beat up Paul Bearer, steal the urn.
Everyone steals the urn.
Everybody's stealing the urn.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen. Then at King of the Ring it would be again Taker v Shango without Paul Bearer. Shango would win clean against it, because obviously then you've got sort of an excuse to say, because Bearer were there with the urn, he had an advantage or whatever. Shango would then challenge Taker at SummerSlam to a rest in peace match, which actually happened against Gonzalez. just a normal match, basically.
Yeah.
But obviously there'd be a little thing. It's the wreath, and this would sort of be a loser leaves. So one of the gimmicks has to rest in peace. Obviously, there's only room for one dark man or whatever here. Yeah. So that would be the build.
Shango.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to have an amazing WrestleMania streak.
But yeah, obviously Taker would win as was against Johnny Gonzalez, and but obviously what he would do is put him in the casket at the end, shut it, and then obviously you could have a vignette backstage where they open it and he's gone, similar to when he fought Taker at SummerSlam the year after. So that can just write Shango off, and he can come back as some UFC man later on. So that is more Shango rebooking.
Shango Brock.
There's a lot less bull death in yours.
Yeah,
where's the possession of animals?
Well, he could probably, I don't know, he could possess some animal for Warrior.
Maybe we could do the vulture on Taker's
Mania, the picket. It's going down. I can possess the elephant when they start coming out at the beginning.
Exactly.
Or
the
camel. What Eden was on.
Why would he possess a camel? That's stupid.
That's the beginning.
Why would he possess a camel?
That's stupid.
Get out of shit.
Why would he possess a camel?
Keep that bit without any context, and then obviously for his reason.
I want that on me tombstone. Why would he possess a camel?
That's stupid.
That's stupid. Jack Chan.
Utilised Jack Chan. Why would he possess a camel? That's stupid.
That's brilliant. So,
come on, bear with no names.
I am going from complete and utter memory here, but my rebooking before and leading up to WrestleMania VIII, he would beat jobbers and be debuted. His character would be gotten over, and he would be a credible threat. In a vignette leading up to WrestleMania VIII, he would burn a Hulk Hogan
effigy of everything I used to be.
A Hulk Hogan effigy, and say that he's going to destroy Hulkamania.
Hogan?
And then at WrestleMania, he does appear after Hogan has beaten Sid Justice on time and to attack Hulk Hogan and lay him out. But at the end of WrestleMania,
you ain't having Mania end with
Shango. Ultimate Warrior would make the save, but the overriding thing is that Shango has taken out Hulk Hogan. But he would then disappear, and Ultimate Warrior would be the person who's in Papa Shango's sight. Papa Shango then says that he's going to take out the Warrior and turn everything good about him evil and dark. And over the next couple of months, it would be Shango cursing different people and cursing the Ultimate Warrior. Get rid of the goo shit. None of the fucking convulsions or anything of that nature. Warrior would largely ignore Papa Shango as he's the number one contender for Macho Man's title. But Papa Shango during these few weeks would possess his bodyguards, the head shrinkers, who would act as the fall guys for Shango, so Shango doesn't have to take a loss, but he can lose in 6-man tags on Saturday night's main events to Warriors and things. Leading up to it, Shango continues to say that he's going to take everything holy about the Warrior, and in going into SummerSlam, I would have Ultimate Warrior showing signs of being evil and demonic, as the curse of Papa Shango is starting to take hold. And then at the showcase of the Immortals, which is in mine, SummerSlam 1992, Ultimate Warrior would go full on heel on the Macho Man and almost win the world title, but he would break out of the curse just as he's about to finish him and look appalled at his weakness when it's come to Papa Shango.
And his gear.
And this would allow Macho Man to win the match over Ultimate Warrior. And because of Ultimate Warrior's evil doing, he would leave the WWF in shame and embarrassment. Shame. But because Papa Shango almost took the title from Macho Man leading up to Survivor Series, the number one contender for the world title is Papa Shango. As going into Survivor Series, he's taken all the friends away from Macho Man. Macho Man is left alone, and the numbers game would be too much at Survivor Series. The head shrinker's distraction, and Macho Man would lose the world title to Papa Shango.
What? I can't believe you put the belt on him.
Papa Shango.
Where's Kazani appear?
Papa Shango then would say that he is the Lord of the Darkness in the WWF.
Bloody hell, I mean, we all put back in the attitude there.
But Undertaker would appear in vignettes and say that he's going to take the darkness away from Papa and he's an imposter in the darkness. Macho Man would get his rematch at Royal Rumble, but again come up short. And in the Royal Rumble itself, Papa Shango would send the head shrinkers off to do his bidding to ensure that Undertaker does not win the Royal Rumble and become number one contender. But Undertaker manages to overcome the odds and wins the Royal Rumble.
Do the final three with Fatu and Samu.
The last three would be Taker, Fatu and Samu.
Yes. That would be Taker, Fatu and Tenru.
Honorary head shrinker.
And I might even have Carlos Colon.
That youngster.
Don't possess him, none of them scars.
So it's set. WrestleMania 9 is Papa Shango versus Undertaker, and it'll be as close to darkness by the time that they fight as you can have in Las Vegas. And Undertaker would overcome the darkness, wipe the curse that he's got over the head shrinkers in the lead up, so Papa Shango's alone, and Undertaker would beat Papa Shango at WrestleMania 9.
Oh, you know, if Hogan come out, do you?
Well, at the end of this match, Papa Shango gets on the mic and says that he's done it all in the WWE. He's taken out. He's taken the world title. He'll get his title back off Undertaker, and there's no one that can stop him. And then Hulk Hogan would make his return to the WWE.
Yeah, that's what you have his theme like the slow bit at the start, and then
he would make his triumphant return. He wouldn't be in a match. He'd come out riding Brutus. And he would make his return, so he would lay down a challenge for King of the Ring at 1993, a match that he will retire if he loses to Papa Shango at King of the Ring. 1993. Leading up to it on Raw, he would try and possess Brutus and attack Brutus. And Brutus would
could he possess his scissors?
Hogan's hair.
Could he possess his scissors and have him floating around?
Get Hogan bald.
This is what you got to do.
Hogan in
leading into
bald now.
Shamey's crash as well.
Leading into this, again, Hogan is alone. He's got no friend.
What about
Jimmy Hart's been sort of mesmerised and possessed. But Hogan would win the match at King of the Ring.
Going to retire him.
And that would be the end of Papa Shango in my run.
You proper pushed him there.
Yeah. So,
mind you, to be fair, I'd rather see him as Champion Slaughter's run.
Exactly, but there you go. And it was a tough ask after
like
the possession of a
the
ball.
end of Mania ends with a promo and Hogan's returning King of the Ring.
That's basically how it did end.
It did end with a promo from Fuji. Fuji promo and Hogan.
Local cunt ruins everything. So let us know on our Twitter page, BCC Pod, on our Facebook at BCC Pod, Facebook.com/BCC Pod.
Put a lot into that one.
and our website bettercallcreative.com.
We heard it before.
Yeah. So let us know who you thought rebooked it better, and we all agree it was Jack in this case. But we end
like a bit of animal possession.
We end every episode, as we always do, with a 6-match. Am I right in saying 6 matches?
Yeah, you are.
6-match fantasy card based on a theme around our podcast
Subject.
Our podcast subject. Oh,
what we've been talking about.
Definitely cut out. That's silence.
From podcast.
Dead air. Don't worry, there's blue goo, there's black goo just oozing.
Jack, feet him on fire.
Yeah. So, our theme, as you could guess, was the occult or dark characters from wrestling's past.
Yes.
Anyone want to go first with their first match?
I'll go first.
Go on then, Sam.
My first match is Mankind versus Abyss. Obviously, this is the first Mankind when he first came.
Yeah. Not the lovable one.
Not the lovable one with a sock. The brown one. He was in brown, alright?
He was in brown.
Going over brown Mankind.
Yeah, you gotta put him over because I didn't like that Mankind.
Well, my match is is a last man standing match between the ECW zombie and the literal Japanese zombie Hakushi. And
is that what he was called?
That's what he was.
He was a zombie.
And my
Don't see them on The Walking Dead, do you?
Hakushi.
I love that if Hakushi's an extra. Looking there with Bret's head.
Yeah, but that, who was it? Sakoda. The one with the white face.
And I would put over Walking Dead Hakushi.
Zombie ain't going over. My first match is a 20-man battle royal.
Wow.
So,
I remember this.
strap yourself in. We got Boogeyman, Black Rain, Relic,
We've
Kendo.
already been blocked by Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, sorry, Dustin. Born again, whatever. Kendo Nagasaki, Vampiro, Mil Muertes. I'm good for it here. La Parca, Mortis, Crossbones, Gangrel, Abyss, the Zombie from ECW, Kevin Thorne, Crazy Steve, Kevin Sullivan. Paid me to put him in his first out. The Executioner, Rosemary, the Missing Link.
A woman. You got a woman.
One woman. Leatherface from Japan. And the Yeti.
That's not a dark character, that's a stupid.
The Yeti! It's a mummy.
Who's going over?
Mil Muertes. I put over.
I wonder why.
Well, I was going to put Judas Macias in, but that is who it is. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. He could be in the match twice.
I don't know. Right, my next match is the woman in your battle royal, Rosemary versus Nikki Cross, and I would actually put over Rosemary. As much as I like Nikki Cross, it would be Rosemary.
So my next match is a it's a 6-man tag, but there's 4 teams of 3. So it's the Wyatts, but it is Luke Harper, Rowan, and Braun Strowman. More on that later. Versus the Dark Carnival, which I suppose will be Vampiro and
the ICP.
The ICP.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
the ICP on his show.
Versus the Dungeon of Doom.
Or Mutter and Violent J.
The Dungeon of Doom, which will be Kevin Sullivan, Yeti, and I've got to get Loch Ness on.
Ultimate Solution.
And the Order
Zeus.
of the Neo Solar Temple, which is Ultramantis Black, Crossbones, and Hydra. And my winners would be the Wyatts. Because of Luke Harper. Let him free.
Yes.
Set him free, WWE.
Bested. My next match is a Fatal 4-Way Skull on a Pole match.
Ah! Fucking hell, he's pulling everything out here.
This
Skull
is-
on a pole.
Yep, and you'll see why.
Is it skull on a pole?
It's the match is Skull
Is he on a pole?
from DOA
Yep.
versus Skull Von Crush, which was Vito, versus Skull Duggery
From the
Wrestling Secret thing.
Is there a stunt granny around?
There's a stunt Skull versus Skull Murphy, who's an old indie British wrestler.
Oh, I think I've heard.
And the special referee would be Skull from the Power Rangers. Why not? And I would
Is
put
Bulk
over.
the ring announcer?
I would put over Skull Duggery because he knows the secrets.
No, best thing you should have said was, I'll put over Skull.
Well, he's in it.
No, that's what I'd say. I'd just say to them all, Skull's going over. And then walk up.
Which one?
My next match is a tag match, which is Harper and Rowan, if I gotta get my boys in, versus Sanity, which would be Wolf and Young. Sorry, Killian.
Or Killian.
Yeah, he can be there. And I will put over Harper and Rowan. Is that my boys?
Rightly so. Well, my next match is a split personality match between Mordecai and Kevin Thorne. And going over is Mordecai.
Is it
'cause
like
that was
the
a
Ronnie
best-
Barker sketch where he's half and half?
Yeah, it's like Roddy Piper. It's just punching it.
Half dark, half light.
Yeah, whichever side falls.
Well, I like
And I'd put over Mordecai.
I like the image of that. My next match is a first blood tag match. I'm not doing gimmick every year. They're all gimmicks, you might as well. It's the Voodoo Kid Mafia in the Alamo.
Finding the Alamo
versus Mexico's Most Wanted.
I
Which is
forgot about
Damien 666 and Halloween, if you don't know, out there.
Check them out.
And I would put them over because I like them.
Yes.
They're my boys. Mexican boys.
MMW, I was going to say AMW, but that's Brian Walker and Joe Storm.
Sam?
My next match is Bray Wyatt versus Jake Roberts.
Ooh.
Yes. Evil Jake.
Gotta run away from you, Jake.
Gotta run away from you, Jake. Who went to AEW.
Who's going to win?
Bray.
My next match is the Mexican Most Wanted, Halloween and Damien, versus the Japanese Not Wanted, Freddy Krueger and Leatherface, versus Murder Clown and Psycho Clown.
Ooh.
And I would put over Halloween and Damien.
I'm going to say don't put over Psycho Clown.
Booze from Mexico. We had a lot of Mexican people follow us for Vampiro as well.
Yeah,
they're
massive in Mexico. I don't
and then they automatically unfollowed us.
They listened to it and they went, oh, yeah.
What these gringos going on about? Perros.
Bloody perros.
I learned my Spanish from Alberta. Not good.
Match 4 is a casket match between Seven. He's pulling double duty, old Dustin. And Kizani.
He's double.
Kizani, the man who led to Undertaker versus Shane.
Yeah, that one
Check
led
that
to the light box.
out.
And the winner, the winner is none of them because Kane.
No contest.
Kane comes out, beats them both up, and puts them both in the casket.
Sets it on fire.
He can set it on fire.
Quite right.
Enough of this shit.
Here comes Kane.
Right, my next match is Kane with Sean O'Hare, the Devil's Advocate.
Right in his corner.
Yes. Yeah, I'm doing like a bit of a story where, you know, he's Devil's Advocate.
Like a rebooking on your fantasy card.
Yes. Versus Sting.
Not Sting. Benel.
Fucking
Don't tell Ben.
I don't care.
Every time I talk about Sting, I get more and more hate.
Just gets abused on Twitter.
Every time I look on Twitter, the thing you put about Warrior and Sting, you know, I wonder how many people.
Everyone disagrees with me. Well, I hate Sting. Don't put Sting over in this match.
I was actually going to put Kane over, so
I'll put Sean O'Hare.
although I do like Sting.
My next match is Bray Wyatt versus Waylon Mercy.
Oh,
The Buzzard would be.
Happy Bray Wyatt versus the Buzzard.
This is Waylon Mercy when he's like on Sesame Street, though. And I would have Bray Wyatt.
I think you're going to say like on drugs or something like that.
Yeah, he's always under. Yeah.
Rick Mail,
With a little dagger.
Rick Mail with tats.
My next match is a triple threat Extreme Rules match. It is Bray Wyatt versus Hallowicked versus Evil.
Ooh. Oh, from Japan.
And I would put over Bray Wyatt.
Main event time.
My main event is kind of what I've booked.
We'll all have it
It's
too.
Shango versus Taker, and I'll put in brackets 96.
That's to take place in 96.
And I would put Shango over just because it's his story arc.
Yeah. Well, I've got Shango versus Phantom of the Opera Taker. 95.
No, 95. See? And what's your 94?
You'll have to wait.
And I've got to put over Shango. It being a buried alive match.
And my main event is a Hell in a Cell, and it's Papa Shango versus Batman Taker.
96, 97.
96, 97 Bat Taker. And I would put over Shango because it's his card, so he's got to go over.
Yeah. And he suffered enough through his actual booking.
So let us know which one of the cards of Shango versus Taker, or Shango versus Taker, or Shango versus Taker you prefer.
Which Taker you prefer fighting, Shango?
And let us know what your fantasy occult match would be at our Twitter page, which is at BCCPod. Our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCPod, and our website. Anyone wrote Sting, they'll be blocked.
Dustin Rhodes.
Our website.
Yeah, but he's got access, so we can just unblock him just to annoy him.
Oh well.
Our website, which is bettercallcreative.com, and check out our affiliates for other podcast options. Our next episode will be episode 18 as we continue with our story arc of the Ultimate Warrior,
which for the last 2 episodes hasn't really featured the Ultimate Warrior.
But he will return.
Disappeared
quite figuratively in 1996, and we will pick the podcast up there. But for today, we are out of time, and I have been the Soul Taker, the Pimp Daddy of the podcast world, Ben Chance, saying goodbye.
You forgot what you were going to say then.
Absolutely. With Sam Chance, the good, not so good father, saying
goodbye.
And the human eating machine to my left, and he's going to prove it with his curry in a minute.
I am.
Jack Chance, saying
goodbye.
Check us out soon, folks. Bye.
Warrior.
Stop that! Shit! I didn't do it!
Yes, you did!
It wasn't me!
Yes, it was!
I was walking along with my hands in my pockets, wondering what to do. I stumbled upon something so wrong and it made me think of you. I had to think quick, so I pulled out my dick and it landed on my shoe. The next thing I knew, I needed an excuse for the lights that were flashing blue. I'm cunning, I'm sneaking, I'm dangerous, I'm leaking. Dangerous. Dangerous. I'm coming, I'm running, I'm running, I'm coming. I'm innocent.
You're guilty!
I'm a nice guy.
You're a dick!
Protesting my innocence, can't you see I'm ignorant? Didn't mean to get caught. You can't catch me, okay you did. Are you sure you can't be bought? What you gonna do? You got me nailed. I can't be jailed cause my mum post bail. Tell her what I did, cause to her I'm just a kid. Now let's make lemonade. Danger whack! Danger whack! I'm cunning, I'm sneaking, I'm dangerous, I'm leaking. Danger whack!
Sorry, Mum.